Stefan, I may just talk a little bit about this partnership, and I want to. You said something really important, which I mean, many things that were very important, but one in particular is about how the scientific community is about collaboration. And so, how is it that we're able to make our findings and our materials and methods kind of as shareable as possible? That's really kind of what we want to do. So, in addition to having persistent login nodes, that are there for folks to be able to access the resources. And the easy GUI that we were talking about, the easy graphical user interface. We want to be able to make sure that we have an environment that's reproducible and an environment that can be very easily shared. And one way to do that, of course, is with containerization. But this is part of what we're thinking about, and what our researchers are thinking about is whenever they publish, whenever they make something available to the world, it wasn't that long ago that it took many months for someone else to be able to download all the different code from the repositories, make sure they were compiled to the right version, make sure that everything worked together. And then, just to get, it could take sometimes weeks, if not months, to be able to then just reproduce exactly what was done somewhere else. And that's not really, what we want to do. We want to make this as easy as possible for people to be able to reproduce the work. And that's one of the things that we're able to do also in a way that's more simple here, is to containerize these workspaces. And that's part of that architecture that the Activate provides us. And being able to automate those workflows, and including the notebooks, I think is really key. This is what is, I think, so important in the scientific community, because the days of someone doing work kind of in an isolated way are over, right? I mean, this collaboration is absolutely mandatory for success, not just after publication, but also before publication, and being able to know that, there are many people and that are contributing to any particular project. I don't know, Stefan, if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's that reproducibility it's interesting, because again, we were talking about synergy, right? And when ParallelWorks started the journey of deploying to cloud, we use this idea called infrastructure as code.
Yes.
Where the infrastructure doesn't really matter. It's the list of instructions that's used to create the infrastructure that brings it about. And so we do that regularly with the cloud clusters. And then one of the things that we're doing as part of the workflows that run at Albert Einstein is we have environment as code, where the whole compute environment, the whole software stack that a researcher might use as part of a workflow, that is deployed on the fly as a series of steps that exist as code. And so we're kind of moving into this idea where we've taken the idea of infrastructure as code and we've moved it into environment as code. And when you put the two of them together, it really helps to reproduce workflows, right? So it's like containerization, and that like a Docker file will give you the list of instructions to build the software to put it in a container. Environment of code as code is similar, but maybe it works with Conda environments, right? Or SPAC environments, different kinds of, not absolutely everything is conducive to being containerized right there on the spot. And so having that concept of environment as code as a way to do pure containerization, or these different kinds of package managers is a really, really powerful way to distribute and deploy.
Absolutely, Stefan. I was just saying, it's something that I found very appealing when we first spoke about this many years ago. And one can envision how that can be useful and how it can work, but then to actually see it in practice. One of the things that we all know, and I have a good friend of mine who likes to say this all the time, is to make something really easy is actually very hard. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make something very, very easy. And I want to kind of applaud what you've put into making, you and your colleagues at ParallelWorks to making this work.